Okay. So we now start with fourth chapter. This is the chapter on linear transformation. All right, so let's understand that our principal object is a matrix. We want to understand the matrix, but we understand a matrix by its action, yeah, by its action on vectors. So that gives rise to the concept of linear transformation. So suppose I start with a m by n matrix with real entries, m by n matrix with real entries. Then A gives rise to a function on the n-dimensional space Rn by left multiplication. The input is a vector v, output is a v. Yeah. So from Rn to Rm, the inputs are vectors with n components. The output are vectors with m components. And output is obtained by operating A2 on v. So v mapping to AV. This is the rule. So it's a vector valued function of vectors. V mapping to AV is a vector valued function of vectors. And so this defines this function. TAV equal to AV. Right? So by properties of multiplication, you can easily check that TA of V plus W is TAV plus TAW. This just comes from properties of multiplication. And TA of a scalar times V is that scalar times TAV. So this map TA, which I defined here, okay, this is respecting addition. You add vectors, multiply and apply TA. You can add the images. That is, the answer is the same. Or you scale a vector first, then apply A. That is same as applying A and then scaling the vector by the same amount. So TA is respecting addition and scalar multiplication. Okay. So we say that TA respects two operations in the vector space Rn. There are two operations, right? The 10 axioms of the vector space, they are dealing with the properties of addition of vectors and scalar multiplication of vectors. And it is TA is respecting addition and scalar multiplication. Okay, so we want to study such maps. In fact, mathematics is full of such maps. All kinds of maps that you have encountered so far, they are actually linear transformation. Okay, they satisfy this property. So we'll see many examples. Here is let's make this definition. So suppose V and W are vector spaces. Arbitrary vector spaces. Vector spaces can consist of matrices or functions or ordinary vectors, or matrices can themselves form vector spaces. So vector spaces are of all kinds of objects. So I take two abstract vector spaces and a map between them, a function between them. If it respects addition and scalar multiplication, then it is called a linear transformation. But this should happen for all pairs of vectors and every scalar. These two are satisfied for every pair of vectors V and W and every scalar C. Then such a map is called a linear transformation, or sometimes we also use linear map to save space. We say it linear map. Yeah. So we want to compare vector spaces. In order to compare vector spaces, we have to connect them. And in linear algebra, the connection is provided by linear transformation. Okay. So linear transformation from one vector space to another, it respects addition and scalar multiplication. Yeah. And you can check that if I take C equal to 0, then T of 0V, 0 times a vector is the 0 vector, but that is equal to C times TV. C is 0, so it is also 0. So 0 vector is mapped to 0 vector. Yeah, 0 vector is mapped to 0 vector by any linear transformation between any two vector spaces. The 0 vector, 0 is the identity of the addition. Identity of the addition maps to identity of addition in W. Let's look at some examples. Yeah. So for any pair of vectors, vector spaces V and W over a field F, the 0 map that takes V to 0, that is a linear transformation. Very easy to prove. You can check. Everything is going to 0, then it satisfies both the properties. Identity map, V mapping to V. Okay, that is also a linear transformation. Then scaling of a vector is a linear transformation. So take a vector, say for example in the plane, column vector xy, and multiply this column vector by this scalar matrix C00C, that is C times this vector. So input is this vector, the output is scaled version of this vector by the scaling factor is C. So V mapping to CV is also a linear transformation. Yeah, identity map is linear transformation. Every vector mapping to 0 is a linear transformation. A vector mapping to a scalar multiple of that vector by a fixed scale scaling factor is also a linear transformation. Yeah, so you can check the definition of linear transformation and prove that these three are examples. Let's look at the rotation map from R2 to R2. Yeah, from R2 to R2. So take a vector and take any vector in R2 and rotate by fixed angle. Yeah, so V is mapping to V prime. I take a vector here, again rotate. This is the answer. So rotate, entire space is being rotated. The entire plane is being rotated by fixed vector theta, fixed angle theta in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so this you can check by Cartesian from geometry that if I take the unit vector along the x-axis, then it is mapped to this. Yeah, this angle is theta. So if this is the unit vector, then this coordinates of this point are cos theta, sin theta. Okay, so T of E1 is cos sin theta transpose, because my vectors are column vectors. And if I take a unit vector in the direction of E in the y-axis, E2, then T of E2 is minus sin theta cos theta. Because E2 is also rotated by exactly theta amount in anti-clockwise direction. So if you rotate E2 by theta amount in anti-clockwise direction, the end vector is minus sin theta cos theta. Because E1 and E2 are perpendicular to each other. They have angle 90-degree angle between them. So when I rotate E1 and rotate E2 by theta amount, the end vectors are also going to be perpendicular to each other. So the vector which is perpendicular to this vector is precisely this vector, minus sin theta cos theta. Okay, and once I know the action on E1 and E2, I know the action on the whole space, because any vector can be represented as xe1 plus ye2. And if T is this rotation map by properties of linear transformation, this is xte1 plus yte2. I know te1, I know te2, and therefore I know T of xy. So this you can check this formula. T of xy is x cosine theta minus y sine theta, x sine theta plus y cosine theta, and this is obtained by multiplying this matrix. This is called the matrix of this linear transformation. So this 2 by 2 matrix, cos theta minus sine theta cos theta, is multiplying the vector x, producing a vector which is the rotated vector. Xy is the input, and you rotate by theta in anti-clockwise direction by, then the output vector is going to be this, and this can be obtained by pre-multiplying the given vector by this rotation matrix, 2 by 2 rotation matrix. Okay, so T rotates the whole space by theta amount. So rotation is a linear transformation, right? Then you have come across differentiation in calculus. Let us see how differentiation is also a linear transformation. Okay, so look at all the differentiable functions which are differentiable to any order. They are infinitely often differentiable functions like cosine x, sine x, or exponential function. So take the space of all functions which have derivatives of every possible order. Okay, derivatives of every possible order. These functions constitute a infinite dimensional vector space. Yeah, we proved last time that if I take, say, E alpha 1x, E alpha 2x, etc., E alpha nx, where alpha 1 less than alpha 2 less than alpha n are any distinct real numbers, then these functions are linearly independent, and they are differentiable to any possible order. So this vector space of functions which have derivatives of all possible order, yeah, on this vector space we apply the map is take a function and map it to its derivative. Okay, if f has derivatives of all possible orders, f prime also has derivative of all possible orders. So differentiation is a map from D to D. D is this space of all functions which have derivatives of every possible order, and this differentiation is a linear transformation because derivative of this linear combination of two functions f and g, af plus bg, is equal to af prime bf bg prime, and this is adf plus bdg. Okay, and so differentiation is a linear transformation from D to D. This is a infinite dimensional vector space, but the differentiation is a linear transformation because it is respecting addition of functions and scalar multiples of functions. Similarly, integration is also a linear transformation. Yeah. So take the same vector space D, and the input is a function. Input is a function. So I of f of x. Okay. So if is a function. What is that function? You integrate ft dt from 0 to x. I produce a function of x. Okay, and we know that if I integrate a function which is differentiable, the integral is also differentiable. Yeah. So if f is differentiable to any order, then its integral has derivative of all possible orders. So when I integrate a function in D, I get another function in D. And integration, by properties of integration, you know that integration is a linear transformation. The integral of sum of two functions is sum of integrals, and integral of scalar multiple of a function is scalar multiple of the integral, and so integration from D to D is a linear transformation. Differentiation from D to D is a linear transformation. But many functions are not linear transformations. For example, if you map x to x square from R to R, then t of x plus y is not tx plus ty, because x plus y square is not equal to x square plus y square. Okay. Basically because this is a non-linear map. It is not a linear in x. Okay, so this is not a linear transformation. Let's produce another linear transformation. Look at the vector space of n by n matrices in a field. Yeah, n by n matrices over a field. This is a vector space of n square dimension. Now fix a matrix A, and they define a map from V to V given by take a matrix n and produce the matrix A times n. A is fixed. So the input is a matrix, the output is we are left multiplying n by A, and that is this matrix AN. And by using matrix product properties, it is easy to see that T of alpha C plus beta D is alpha C beta D plus beta D times n. That is alpha Cn plus beta Dn. That is alpha Tc plus beta Td. So left multiplication by a fixed matrix on the space of matrices is also a linear transformation. Right? So let me define rank and nullity for linear transformations, and we'll prove rank nullity theorem for linear transformations. So take a linear transformation of vector spaces. Okay, there are two subspaces. Just as we associate 4 subspaces with a matrix, we associate 2 subspaces with a matrix. First is the null space. This is the space corresponding to null space of a matrix. Null space of a linear transformation, all vectors, so that TV equal to 0. Yeah, all vectors which are shrunk to 0. That is the null space of T. T is mapping all these vectors to 0 vector. This is the null space of T, and you can check null space of T is a subspace of V, because if I take 2 vectors which are mapped to 0, their linear combination is also going to be mapped to 0, because T is a linear transformation. Yeah. So if V and W are in the null space of T, then T of alpha V plus beta W is equal to alpha TV plus beta TW, but TV is 0, beta TW is 0, so this is equal to 0. So this linear combination is again the null space. So null space of a matrix is a subspace of V. Similarly, image is all the output vectors. All the output vectors, they form a subspace of W. Yeah. So if I take 2 output vectors, so TV and TW, these are vectors in the output, and I take their linear combination. That is same as T of alpha V plus beta W. So linear combination of 2 vectors in the image is also in the image of T. And therefore, image of T is a subspace of W. Yeah. So with any linear transformation, I have associated 2 subspaces. The first subspace lives inside the domain, that is the null space of T. It consists of all vectors which are mapped to 0. And then the second subspace is inside the codomain W, and that consists of all the vectors TV. All the images, they constitute the image space of T. Okay. Now, so I proved this already. Null space is a subspace of V, and its dimension is called the nullity. Yeah, its dimension is called the nullity. This is just copying the definition of nullity of a matrix. Nullity of a matrix consists of the dimension of the null space. Null space consists of vectors so that AV equal to 0. And now we are replacing this by vectors so that TV is 0. And the null space of T is a subspace of V, and its dimension is called the nullity of T. Okay. So suppose I have two vectors. Then alpha TV plus beta TW is T of alpha V plus beta W, and that is in the image. So image is subspace. The rank of the subspace, which is the image, is called the rank of T. Okay, so we have lifted the idea of rank of a matrix to the rank of linear transformations. Yeah, so rank of a matrix was dimension of the row space, but it was also the dimension of the column space. The column space coincides with the image of the linear transformation which is induced by the matrix. Okay, so dimension of the image of a linear transformation therefore is called the rank of T. Okay, and we have nullity of T, which is the dimension of null space. Okay, let's see that injectivity of a linear map can be detected simply by testing the null space of T. So T is a one-to-one map if and only if null space of T is 0. This is easy to show. Let's show one direction. Suppose TU equal to TV. I want to show that T is one-to-one, assuming that null space of T is 0. So suppose TU equal to TV, then because T is a linear transformation, T of U minus V is 0. But U minus V therefore is in the null space, but null space of T is 0, and therefore U minus V is 0, and therefore U equal to V. So that shows that if the null space of a linear transformation is trivial space consisting only the 0 vector, then T is one-to-one. To prove the other direction, suppose T is one-to-one, I want to show null spaces of T of 0. Well, if V belongs to null space of T, then TV is 0, but V is 0 is also T of 0, and this implies that V is 0, and therefore T is one-to-one. Okay, yeah. So our time is finished, and we will prove next time the connection between rank and nullity of a linear transformation. We will prove the rank nullity theorem for linear transformations which are acting on a finite dimensional vector space. We will show that the rank and nullity of a linear transformation add up to the dimension of the domain space. Exactly the same statement that we proved for matrices. Okay, so we'll stop here, and we will continue on Wednesday. Thank you.